Okay, students, welcome back. The last possible question, this chapter, there's a mechanical waves or waves. Please make a note of it. Two questions we already discussed. So one is explain the formation of stationary waves, case of open argon pipe or open pipe, and then frequency ratio. Second one, formation of stationary waves, closed argon pipe or closed pipe, frequency ratio. And the last possible question, make a note of it. I'll read the question as slowly as possible. Explain the formation of stationary waves in stretched strings and hence reduce the loss of transverse waves in stretched strings. I repeat, explain the formation of stationary waves in stretched strings. So keep the heading formation of stationary waves. Formation of like heading formation of stationary waves in a in stretched right. So now as we already discussed, so in case of stretched string, a string, what do you mean by string, right? So wire, metal wire, let's say, having uniform cross section and then having large length compared to its cross sectional area or diameter. So let us take a uniform string. Let's say this is a uniform string in musical instruments. So you might have observed veena, guitar, violin, in all the musical instruments, stringed instruments we call. So we have a string so fixed at both ends. Now you create some disturbance. If the pluck the string, the middle, the disturbance travels along the length, along the string, in the form of transverse waves only. Be careful, students, here. In case of stretched string, if you create some disturbance, they plug the wire somewhere in the middle, the disturbance travels along the string in the form of transverse waves, and then at fixed ends, at both the ends, fixed ends, the wave, transverse wave here, progressive wave is transverse wave, gets reflected. This incident reflected waves moving along the length of the string, they overlap with each other, produce stationary waves. The basic principle is same. So how do you get stationary waves? Two identical progressive waves. Here in this case, they are transverse progressive waves. The previous two cases, the argon pipe, closed and open argon pipes, they are longitudinal progressive waves. Here, transverse progressive waves in case of stretched strings, right? So now, here, when you pluck it, the disturbance, the sound travels along the string, the form of transverse wave, gets reflected at the fixed ends, the closed ends, then both incident and reflected waves is superposed with each other and then produce the stationary waves, right? So now formation of stationary waves, case of stretched strings. Just look at the diagram. So here in the fundamental or basic mode of vibration, so the string vibrates one segment or one loop, so that at fixed ends we have nodes, and then in between here antinode is formed, right? Here the incident and then reflected wave both will overlap, superimpose with each other, produce stationary wave. The fundamental mode, string vibrates such that two nodes are formed at either end, fixed end, in between an antinode is formed. Now coming to the conditions to obtain nodes and antinodes. Now let us say the progressive waves in terms of displacement of the vibrating medium, particles of the medium. So let us say the wave is progressing along positive x-axis. I'll denote the first wave y1 is equal to a sine of kx minus omega t. Students, please look at that expression. It is a transverse progressive wave along positive x-axis. Here y1 is the displacement, a is amplitude, k is a propagation constant. The propagation constant, and then omega is angular velocity. Angular velocity, right? Similarly, so wave moving of reflected wave move in opposite direction. Say negative x-axis. So the reflect this is incident wave. Say equation 1, and then the reflected wave a sine of ax plus omega t. So see here, the transverse wave moves along the string and gets reflected and move in opposite direction. So these two waves, the two identical progressive waves moving along the length of the string but in opposite direction. First one along positive x-axis. The second one is the progressive wave moving along negative x-axis. These two move along the string in opposite direction. They superimpose, overlap, and produce a resultant wave as per the principle of superposition. So both will superimpose with each other at any given point. The net displacement is algebraic sum here, y1 plus y2. Simple mathematics. Now substitute equation 1 and 2. Here a sine of ax minus omega t plus a sine of ax plus omega t, right? So here using two identical progressive waves, but only thing is both are moving in opposite direction. One is along positive x-axis and another one is reflected wave in opposite direction, say negative x-axis. Both will superimpose with each other. So from principle of superposition, so we have net displacement at any given point is y1 plus y2, the algebraic sum. Substitute it. So this is sine a plus b plus sine a minus b. A is a common, a is amplitude here. If you want, you can write a. So sine a plus b, sine a plus b means sine ax plus omega t. I am writing this first, plus sine a minus b, that's kx minus omega t. A is amplitude, both are identical progressive waves. You are already familiar, sine a plus b plus sine a minus b. Directly I'll use this. This is sine a cos b, sine a cos b plus cos a sin b. Here sine a cos b minus cos a sin b. This term, cos a sin b term, gets cancelled. So this term repeats twice. So we can write it 2 sin a cos b. 2 sin a cos b. Sin a plus b plus sin a minus b. To simplify further, take it as granted here, or if you want, you can sin a plus b, you can apply sin a minus b. Finally, you will get a 2 sin twice here 2 sin a means kx, sin a cos b, right? Just apply that formula and substitute and simplify here. So net displacement, so at any point, is given by 2a. Just look at diagram, dear students. Here, look at this. So I'll rewrite this end. So look at this here. So net displacement is given by 2a sin ax and then cos omega t. You observe this expression carefully. Friends, just observe, look at the expression here. Whatever I kept within the bracket is a constant. Gives the amplitude of the resultant wave. That can write this, the amplitude is given by of result. It is a sinusoidal wave. So this is a time varying wave. So having amplitude 2a sin ax, the amplitude. So here a represents 2a sin a ampli, right? This resultant wave is again a sinusoidal wave, time varying with an amplitude 2a sine kx, isn't it? So now look at that. So here for condition for nodes. Nodes are the points where the displacement is minimum, as we already discussed in the beginning itself. So you just look at this diagram here, the condition for this. So you consider a stationary wave along a stretched string. Right? If you consider formation of stationary waves along a stretched string, if you consider, so just look at the diagram here. So here x0, we have a node here, another node here, right? So here, just look at this, here lambda by 2. We have lambda by 2. Next to lambda by 2 means 2 lambda by 2. Next 3 lambda by 2 and so on. We'll get nodes. Where do you get nodes? See the diagram. So when x is equal to 0, lambda by 2, 2 lambda by 2, 3 lambda by 2 and so on. So on will get nodes. At these points, so what happens? Destructive interference will take place. The incident and reflected wave reach in out of phase at those points. So they cancel each other, so that net displacement will be minimum or 0. So that gives nodes where the displacement is minimum. Now this, if you want, you can write, so for just condition like n lambda by 2. So here n takes value 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on. You substitute n is 0. N is 0. 0 into negative 0, x is equal to 0. Then n value 1, lambda by 2, n value 2, 2 lambda by 2, 3 lambda by 2, will get nodes, right? When x is equal to n lambda by 2, where n takes value 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on, we will get nodes. The points where the displacement will be minimum or 0, right? This is the condition to obtain nodes. Similarly, condition for antinodes. Condition to obtain antinodes. So dear students, look at the diagram. These are the points where the displacement is maximum. This point represents antinode. Another one, here antinode, here another antinode and so on like this. So just look at the diagram, the little bit of common sense. See here. So first antinode here at lambda by 4, then 1, 2, 3, 3 lambda by 4, 3 lambda by 4, here lambda by 4, 3 lambda by 4, 5 lambda by 4, then 7 lambda by 4 and so on. Look at the diagram, a little bit of knowledge regarding stationary waves. Here, just see here, the point where the displacement is maximum antinode, so lambda by 4. Next, see here, next antinode, 1, 2, 3, 3 lambda by 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 lambda by 4, like that and so on like this, right? So now when x is equal to lambda by 4, next 3 lambda by 4 and 5 lambda by 4 and then 7 lambda by 4 and so on, we'll get which points represent antinodes where the displacement is maximum, right? Both the waves reach at this point in same phase, they undergo constructive interference, so that the displacement is maximum at these points. They denote antinodes, right? This just like you can remember the condition when x is equal to n plus half times lambda by 2. You can put it a condition like this, or remember students, or this can be represented when x is equal to, simplify further, 2n plus 1 times lambda by 4. Either way, you'll get same result. Here n takes values as usual 0, 1, 2 and so on. Now look at the diagram, this condition here. So when n is 0 here, when you substitute n is 0, simply lambda by 4. Lambda by 4 represents first antinode. And subsequently, when n is equal to 1, if substitute n is equal to 1, so 2 plus 1, 3 lambda by 4, 5 lambda by 4, 7 lambda by 4, all odd numbers will get it, right? So 1 lambda by 4, then 3 lambda by 4s, 5 lambda by 4s, and so on. They represent antinodes, right? So even just a little bit of common sense, you just look at this diagram, formation of stationary waves. Here at this point, first antinode, this is so lambda by 4. After that, 1, 2, 3, 3 lambda by 4. Then subsequently 5 lambda by 4, 7 lambda by 4, and so on, right? So explain the formation of stationary waves. A stretched string, a string affixed at both ends between two rigid supports. When it is plucked in the middle, the disturbance travels in the form of transverse wave and gets reflected at fixed end, and both the incident and reflected waves superpose with each other and produce stationary waves. In a fundamental mode, the string vibrates such that two nodes at fixed end, always you remember, particles are not free for vibrations. Nodes are formed at both ends, and in between an antinode is formed in a fundamental mode, right? So now to just explain briefly the incident progressive wave, it is a transverse wave. Reflected for progressive wave, that is a transverse wave in opposite direction along negative x-axis. Both the waves you consider, both will overlap as per principle of superposition. So here algebraic sum net displacement. To simplify further, finally you will get equation 3. This whatever we mentioned within the bracket denotes the amplitude of the resultant wave. So now it is a sinusoidal wave. So it is a sine or cosine function, whatever. Here it depends on x value. Its amplitude depends on its time variable. It depends on x value. When x is equal to n lambda by 2, where n takes value 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. So we'll get nodes where the displacement is minimum, isn't it? Similarly, here, so these are the antinodes, or the points where the displacement is maximum. So that both the waves, incident and reflected waves, they meet at a particular point in the same phase. They undergo constructive interference so that the displacement will be maximum, right? At antinodes, the displacement is maximum. So the condition to obtain antinodes, so just look at this here. Even if you see the diagram, easily you can make out here. Lambda by 4, next here, see 1, 2, 3, 3 lambda by 4, next 5 lambda by 4, and so on like this. Or the condition mathematically we can write n plus of within the bracket lambda by 2, or 2n plus 1, 2n plus 1 lambda by 4 now. 2n plus 1 lambda by 4, where n takes values here 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. Right? If you substitute 0, so it gives the first antinode. You just check it here. So n value, if you substitute 0, your what happens, x value is lambda by 4. It represents first antinode. Similarly, n value 1, 2, 3, 4, if you substitute in that expression, so that gives the second, third, fourth antinodes, successive antinodes as shown in the diagram, right? So this is very, very simple treatment. Now, the formation of stationary waves, a stretched string, general expression will derive, and then subsequently let us proceed to laws of transverse vibrations. Yes, students, remember, in case of stretched string, the progressive wave is only transverse wave, no longitudinal waves. You create some disturbance, you plug the stretched string, the disturbance propagates in the form of transverse wave only. It gets reflected at fixed ends, both will overlap and produce the stationary waves, right? So here, తిరియక్ తరంగాలు, ఒక తీగ, స్ట్రెచ్డ్ తీగను తీసుకొని సో దానికి డిస్టర్బెన్స్ కానీ క్రియేట్ చేసినట్టయితే అప్పుడు తిరియక్ తరంగం ఆ తీగ వెంబడి ప్రయాణించి సో ఎక్కడైతే ఫిక్స్డ్ ఎండ్స్ లో ఉంటుందో అక్కడ సో రిఫ్లెక్ట్ అయిపోయి ఆ రెండు ఒకదాంతో ఓవర్లాప్ అయినప్పుడు అప్పుడు మనకు స్థిర తరంగాలు ఏర్పడతాయి అన్నమాట. స్థిర తరంగాలు ఏర్పడినప్పుడు ఫండమెంటల్ మోడ్ లో యాజ్ ఆల్రెడీ టోల్డ్ యూ అట్ ఫిక్స్డ్ ఎండ్ నోడ్స్ అంటే అస్పందన స్థానం ఏర్పడుతుంది. రెండు చివర్ల అస్పందన స్థానాలు ఏర్పడతాయి. మధ్యలో ఒక ప్రస్పందన స్థానం, మధ్యలో ఇక్కడ గరిష్టంగా ఉంటుంది, ఇక్కడ ప్రస్పందన స్థానం ఏర్పడుతుంది. రైట్. సో తన ఎక్స్ అక్షం వెంబడి ప్రయాణించే పురోగామి తరంగం, తిర్యక్ తరంగం, అలాగే దానికి వ్యతిరేక దిశలో ప్రయాణించేటువంటి తిర్యక్ తరంగం రెండు సమీకరణాలు తీసుకొని ఒకదాన్ని ఒకటి యాడ్ చేసినట్టే కనుక మనకు ఫలిత సమీకరణం ఈక్వేషన్ 3 వస్తుంది అనమాట. ఈక్వేషన్ 3 లో కనుక మనం దాని యొక్క కంపన పరిమితి అంటారు. యాంప్లిట్యూడ్ కనుక తీసుకుంటేనంటే ఇది యాంప్లిట్యూడ్ విలువ ఎక్స్ మీద ఆధారపడి, పొజిషన్ మీద ఆధారపడి ఉంటుంది అనమాట. ఆ యొక్క కంపించేటటువంటి కణం యొక్క స్థానం మీద ఆధారపడి ఉంటుంది. ఇక్కడ అస్పందన స్థానాలు అంటే నోడ్స్ రావడానికి మనకు కావాల్సినటువంటి కండిషన్, నిబంధన ఏంటంటే ఎక్స్ ఈజ్ ఈక్వల్ టు ఎన్ లాంబ్డా బై 2 వస్తుంది. ఎన్ టేక్స్ వాల్యూ 0, 1, 2, 3 కనుక మనం ప్రతిక్షేపిస్తే మనకు వచ్చేటటువంటి అస్పందన స్థానాలకు ఎక్కడెక్కడ ఏర్పడతా అనేది మనకు స్పష్టంగా తెలుస్తుంది అన్నమాట. అలాగే ప్రస్పందన స్థానం, కండిషన్ ఫర్ నోట్ మీన్స్ హియర్ అస్పందన స్థానాలకు, హియర్ ప్రస్పందన స్థానాలు అంటే గరిష్టంగా ఉంటాయి స్థానం. సో ఇక్కడ కనుక మనం తీసుకుంటే అంటే ఈ డయాగ్రామ్ జాగ్రత్తగా మీరు గమనించినట్టు కనుక ఇక్కడ మొదటి ఇక్కడ ప్రస్పందన స్థానం లాంబ్డా బై 4 దగ్గర ఏర్పడుతుంది. నెక్స్ట్ రెండవది 3 లాంబ్డా బై 4, అలాగే నెక్స్ట్ తర్వాతది 5 లాంబ్డా బై 4 ఇలా ఏర్పడుతూ ఉంటాయి అన్నమాట. దాన్ని ఒక మ్యాథమెటికల్ ఈక్వేషన్ ల కండిషన్ లా గుర్తుపెట్టాలనుకుంటే కాంపిటేటివ్ ఎగ్జామ్ చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్ అనమాట. ఎక్స్ ఈజ్ ఈక్వల్ టు ఎన్ ప్లస్ హాఫ్ విత్ ఇన్ ద బ్రాకెట్ లాంబ్డా బై 2, దీన్నే 2n ప్లస్ 1 విత్ ఇన్ ద బ్రాకెట్ లాంబ్డా బై 4 అని రాసుకోవచ్చు అనమాట. n 0, 1, 2, 3 మనం సబ్స్టిట్యూట్ చేస్తే ప్రతిక్షేపిస్తే కనుక మనకు వేరు సో ప్రస్పందన స్థానాలు ఎక్కడెక్కడ ఏర్పడతాయి అనేది మనకు స్పష్టంగా తెలుస్తుంది అనమాట. సో ప్రస్పందన స్థానాలు ఏర్పడడానికి మనకి ఏంటంటే లాంబ్డా బై 4, 3 లాంబ్డా బై 4, 5 లాంబ్డా బై 4, 7 లాంబ్డా బై, సో బేస్ సంఖ్యలు అంటే లాంబ్డా బై 4 వస్తుంది అనమాట. ఇది సో ప్రస్పందన స్థానాలు ఏర్పడడానికి మనం నియమాలు, కండిషన్స్. నెక్స్ట్ let us try to the most important phase in this particular question, loss of transverse vibrations along a stretched string. Now look at this diagram. Dear students, let us consider a string fixed at both ends. In fundamental mode, the string vibrates. The string, how does it vibrate? A node and a node here, antinode in between, right? A string fixed at two ends, right? When it is plucked in the middle, the disturbance travels in the form of transverse wave along the string, gets reflected, and then both incident and reflective overlap and produce stationary wave. This is fundamental mode or first harmonic, right? So this is fundamental mode. Same string vibrates in two loops. Look at the diagram here. So this is the incident, it gets reflected, moves in opposite direction, both will overlap and produce stationary wave in second harmonic. This is fundamental mode or first harmonic. Dear students, make a note of it. So it's one of the important questions. This is second harmonic. It is also called first overtone. How does the string vibrates? You just look at the diagram here. The first harmonic or fundamental mode, the string is vibrating one segment, one loop. The second harmonic, the same string having same length. Let L is the length of the vibrating string. Same string vibrates in two segments or two loops as shown in the diagram. Similarly, you can take the third harmonic, the string vibrates, right? So, forming three loops. One loop, two loops, three loops, four loops, five loops, like this. The string vibrates in higher overtones. So, one segment or one loop, two loops, three loops, and so on, like this. Each case, just observe, see here, L is the length of the vibrating string. Second harmonic, if you consider, the total length is equally divided among the two loops, two segments, so that the length of each loop, here, length of each loop is equal to how much here? Total length is L divided among two loops, L by 2. The length of each loop is L by 2. Similarly, here L by 3. When three loops are formed, so length of each loop is L by 3. Similarly, four loops are formed, L by 4. Like that, if P loops are formed, in general, P is an integer. If P loops, if the wire, the vibrating in P segments, if the string is vibrating, so just same discussion continues. Here, see here, this one. So L here, then two loops, then the length of each loop is L divided by 2. It is vibrating in three segments or three loops. So length of each loop L divided by 3, and so on. If the string vibrates, P loops, right? If string vibrates in P loops. P loops. P is a number. It can be 1, 2, 3, 4. P loops or P segments. Then length of each loop is L divided by P. Different techniques are there, or each individual fundamental mode, first overtone, second overtone, you can discuss the general discussion. So like that, two loops, then length of loop, each loop is L by 2. Three loops, your length of each loop is L by 3. Like that, if the string is vibrating in P segments or P loops, then the length of each loop is given by L divided by P. Now we are familiar. So one loop means the distance between two successive nodes. Distance between two successive nodes, in this case it is here lambda by 4 or lambda by 2. So, but the length of distance between two nodes as well as two antinodes, it is lambda by 2. So the length of each loop is nothing but lambda by 2. So therefore lambda by 2 is nothing but L by P. Why? Because a loop represented by two successive nodes, the distance between two successive nodes, it is lambda by 2. The distance between a node and immediate antinode is lambda by 4. Be careful here. Distance between two successive nodes is lambda by 2. It is nothing but a complete loop, one loop. So lambda by 2 is like this. So that we have this lambda is 2L divided by P. Here P is an integer. P takes values, let's say one loop, two loop, three loop, four loops, and so on. Now go back, the frequency of vibrating string. So frequency of vibrating string. If it is vibrating P segments, be careful. Frequency of vibrating string. In this case means it is vibrating in P segments. Remember, mention it clearly. The string is vibrating in P segments. Then the frequency of vibrating string, it is given by N is equal to V divided by lambda. Now substitute lambda is wavelength here. Substitute this. It is 2L by P. A P goes to numerator. P by 2L, where L is the length of the string, stretched string. V is the velocity of the transverse wave. Be careful here. It is a transverse wave. In case of stretched string, so velocity or speed of transverse wave. I'll write this side, so maybe it's not visible. Back end of that, so at the bottom of the board. So velocity of transverse wave. V is equal to root T by mu. Here T is the tension in the string. Mu is linear density. Here T represents tension in the string. Mu, of course, linear density, mass per unit length. Linear density or mass per unit length. Unit length. Make a note of it, dear students. Here, this is the velocity of transverse wave along a stretched string. So therefore, go back to that equation. Therefore, frequency of vibrating string when it is vibrating P segments. So P by 2L, and instead of V, so substitute this value in the above expression here. What is V now? T divided by 2. So the string is vibrating in P segments. I am putting this subscript P, and the string is vibrating in P segments. That's the frequency of vibrating string in P segment. NP is given by P divided by 2L. So within the square root T by mu. Here, so P takes values. Here, P takes values 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on like this. Here, students, just observe the diagram carefully. So, when a stretched string is plucked, transverse waves moves along the string, gets reflected at closed end. Both will overlap, and stationary waves are generated. So, the string vibrates in fundamental modes such that two nodes are formed on either end, and in between an antinode is formed. The string vibrates in one loop or one segment. The second harmonic or first overtone, the string vibrates in two loops, two complete loops or two segments. Third overtone 3 loops and 4 loops and so on. If it is vibrating in P segments, P loops, the frequency in such case is given by P divided by 2L root T by mu. This is the frequency of vibrating string when it is vibrating in P segments is given by P by 2L root T by mu. T ante ikkada tanyata, tension in the string. Mu anedi linear density, mass per unit length, right? P anedi ikkada 1, 2, 3, 4 values, an integer. L is the length of vibrating string.